Thank you so and I'm so excited for this one. I really hope he's excited as I am. Please bear with us with the connection process this week to close off the incredible season we've had. We have the one and only Javan with us. Really excited for this one. Really hope you're as excited as I am. Please send through your questions if you have any. Please bear with us for the connection process. And let's just have a great time. And yeah, let's get inspired. Let's vibe. And Mob Text episode is out now exclusively as well, and all the other stuff. Yeah, I'm really excited for this one. And he's played at Ultra. He's played at so many other places. I'm really excited to have him on the show. I really hope you are excited as I am, as I said, and please bear with us for the connection process. Thank you. Okay, here we go, Javan. Okay. I really hope he's the creator of Saint After Dark. I'm really excited for that. He's the creator of Saint After Dark and so many other incredible events and all the other stuff. Really excited to have him on the show. Okay, let's go. Hi, how are you?
What's going on? How are you?
Good, thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time. I really appreciate it. I know how
No sweat. Am I in picture and we are live and rocking and rolling?
Yes, 100%. My first question to you is, firstly, you're a legend to me specifically because I feel like you have done so much for the culture and you have done so much for people in general, and you're doing incredible things. So
Thank you so much. That's really, I think I'm just a good guy trying to do good things, you know?
100%. My first question to you is my first question to you is what inspired you to create Saint After Dark and all these incredible things you've created? So, what has been the hardest thing and one of the most rewarding things about creating that?
I think what inspired me to do it, what inspires me each and every day is making people have fun and making people walk away from something with a good experience. So I'd say that's what inspires me to do it. And I must say, sort of creating After Dark, what inspired me about that is I actually took it over from a friend of mine who moved overseas, named Dylan, who unfortunately is no longer with us. And he always remains a special part of my heart. He's such a good guy, and he really helped me through my early stages of my career. But the crux of it is, you know, I just quit my job and left my job, and I didn't even know what I was going to do. And they approached me from Saints a week after quitting my job, and they were like, "We're looking for someone to take this over, and we think you're the guy." And I've been very passionate about Afro House and the Afro House community in South Africa for a very long time. And I thought, you know, what a good opportunity to take this over and really, you know, sink my teeth into it. And that's pretty much what I did.
And you're doing an incredible job at it.
To network and have a good time, and you know, it's been really great to see what we've built over the last 2 years through culture and, you know, sort of making that sound something. It's a daunting task running something weekly. You know, I'm also Cape Town based, so I'm not in Joburg every week. But I must take my hat off to the team that I have at Saint, the team around me. You know, everyone that chips in and does their little bit. It's a team effort. I may be the name on it, but I wouldn't be anywhere without the team that's behind me, and I think they know that, and I appreciate them so much. And big shout out to Gary and Dino from Saint for taking a chance on me, and Bongs and the whole team there. Really, really, they're like my family at Saint. So yeah.
Mm. Okay, so let's get to my favorite part. Okay, let's get to my favorite part. For me, I didn't know that you've been in the game for a long time. Like, I knew, I had a feeling, I had a gut feeling, but I was like, okay, he's a goat. But I was not expecting like 10 years or like, I was expecting like 5 years maybe. I wasn't expecting like 10 years, but like, how has your artistry and your legacy grown into the person that you are today, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's something that I've learned is just showing up every day is part of half the battle of doing well in this industry. I mean, if you look at a guy like Black Coffee, you only really started finding his stride, I think, in his late 30s, early 40s, and the
Mm-hmm.
grind's been there ever since. So for me, where I find how I've built that is I started off in a duo, and we used to play sort of EDM, big room music, and I really got deeper on my own, and I started, you know, mixing with guys. A big part of my life was a guy named DJ Waras, who's also unfortunately no longer with us. But Warwick introduced me to the Afro House world. He introduced me to many of the people that I, do business with these days and collaborate with. And I just fell in love with it. I used to go and jaw at Zone 6 in Soweto and Joe's Car Wash and Max's Car Wash. So I'd be this, guy there just enjoying it. And it's a really beautiful culture. I think Afro House in this country is a beautiful music in this country in general. It's something that's beautifully received and beautifully crafted. And it comes from people that have rhythm and soul. And I'd say that's what, people drive what I do. I love people. I'm a people person. And I think what the shift was, I was actually quite introverted when I was younger, but a bit younger in my career, let's say. And I've really found a voice on others. Like, you can ask anyone that ever meets me. I'm this crazy, big individual with a lot of life. And yeah, I just love people. I love making people happy. That's the crux of what I do.
Mm-hmm. Mm. What advice would you have for up and coming artists, and how do you decide which people are not worthy but ready to play at your event?
What advice I have for upcoming artists? Sure. It's always a question I also wonder myself. I mean, I'm still an up and coming artist, so I also kind of wonder about this a lot.
Yes.
But I think for me, is consistency and being humble is two things that I really think. And maybe something else is, if you want to go and play at a venue or meet someone or something, you need to kind of show interest in what that is.
Mm-hmm.
I probably get about 10 messages a day from people trying to play at Saints. And for me, if you want to play at Saints or you want to play at a venue, I used to want to play at the VIP room in Joburg,
Yes.
and I would go every single week, and I would literally sit there and watch Sebastian DJ.
Mm-hmm.
And until, I just knock on the owner's door and tell him, listen, I love your venue. I noticed that, this, you need to go and experience things. No one's going to offer you something just by DMing them, or, I think there's a bad case of that goes around lately, where you need to take an interest in what you want. And it's always like, I say to a lot of my friends that are like social media people and whatever, like, find someone that isn't doing social media and do it for free. Go do a free gig. Go visit their store. Tell them, I visited your store. I saw, I think you can do this better. But you need to be present in what you want. No one's going to give you. There are a million other people releasing music, and you've got to be someone that stands out, not just about your performance or whatever. And it's just about being authentically, someone that takes an interest in what you want to do. I think that's and my biggest advice for young artists is produce your own music. I'm like still getting into that. And if you want to make it, bigger than just a selector or DJ producer, you need to be producing your own music.
And would you mind if I have my take on these things? Would you mind?
Sure, go to it.
100%. 100% agree on you on that regard. 100%. 100%. I feel like firstly you need to understand why you're doing this in the first place. Secondly, make networking like your best friend. Like make sure, you network as much as you can, right? And also understand. Also, be willing to talk to people. Be willing to collaborate. Be willing to be like, oh, be willing to make mistakes. Be okay. Go to the events that you want to play at, but also support them on Instagram or support them somewhere so that they're aware of you, so that they know exactly what you're doing and how they can help you, or how they can be like, oh, I see this person doing so much work, we can give her a shot or him a shot, whatever, or something like that. Just make sure that you are visible but not too visible, if that makes sense.
100%. I think also the networking part's a big part of it, like also don't go into a networking or meeting someone expecting to get anything out of it. My biggest thing is I do a lot of things for a lot of people and I never ever expect anything in return. And you'll be surprised when you move like that, how many opportunities come your way because you put that energy out there.
Yes, 100%. Um, I feel like in the scene we don't talk about the two things we don't talk about often, right? One is mental health for in general, like whether it's women, whether it's men, what in general we don't speak about that. So, in your perspective, how can we as a community help each other? Check on each other, but also have a practical way of having a practical way of thinking and practical way of supporting each other, but also helping, also making us uh, a priority, if that makes sense.
I think, yeah, like, especially, it's quite a male-driven culture, a male-driven industry, and, males are really scared to speak about feelings and things like that. And, I've felt extremely anxious, but I lean on people that, not just in the industry, but outside of it, that I trust, and I talk about things. I think it's also very important to find something that balances your mental health out a lot. I've recently got into yoga, which not only gives me like a good physical workout, but mentally, it's a good thing. But I think what we can do better as an industry is set up support structures for people. There's a lot of people that are going through. This industry is not like a corporate industry where okay, I'm going to start as an analyst and I'm going to become a consultant, and there's no ladder. You never know what's going to happen tomorrow. And there's as many, you know, achievements as you do and good things that you do, you receive 1,000 no's before that, and those no's can be extremely demoralizing and extremely humiliating. But I do say I lean on a lot of my industry friends when I need advice. I lean on a lot of my solid friends that I have in my life. Um, and I'm quite a spiritual guy, so I look at like, I like candles, I look like all these sorts of stones here, and like all these sorts of things that just calm me down and bring me back down to earth. But it is a general thing. I don't know what the best answer for it is, but for me, it's talking about things and not bothering up. The worst place you can be is in a room alone around four walls.
100%, 100%. I 100% agree on you with you with that. And I 100% agree with you when you say people need to produce music. If you want to go like a black coffee or a shimza or whatever, you have to be able to produce, because this thing of just being a selector is not gonna last. It's not gonna last long, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Uh, Other question to you is, what is the biggest lesson you had to learn with all your businesses that you've built so far in 2026 that you didn't know, that you only know you knew today or knew a few weeks ago?
I don't know if I only learned this now, but I learned this a long time ago, is whatever you do, get it in writing. That
Yeah.
is that is something I think, and I'm not saying whatever you do, when you're doing big decisions in life, I don't know, you are starting a club residency, or doing a booking or whatever it is, have a basic contract in place, have things in place that protect you, protect the other person. And it also just makes things clear, especially when, this industry is very intertwined with friends and things. And it can get quite blurry when it comes to money or like what the agreement was, but it all goes back to a contract that's in place. There's no, it's black and white. So I think that would be one of my biggest lessons. And yeah, I think just get things in writing. And also, I think one of my biggest lessons lately is just knowing that the world is your oyster. Like if you look at most of our artists that have come out of this country, they've come from seriously disadvantaged backgrounds with absolutely, no hope of ever getting to where they are. And you look at them shine and you're like, if they can do this, anyone can. So I think those are my two sort of lessons from it.
Mine are one, get things in writing, yes, like you said, because not word of mouth, not word when someone says, "Oh, I'm gonna book you" or whatever. No, no, you have to get it in writing. You have to get it in writing, but also you read the contracts. Don't just sign. Also, have someone that is also not in the scene, not in the scene, the culture, but to read everything, to be like what your soundboard in a way that is not going to be like, oh, you have to do this, you have to do this. No, you just make sure that it's your circle is balanced, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I definitely think those are like, it's also good. Like whatever I do, I always put past. I've got one of my best friends that's really took me from being sort of an amateur guy within this industry to really showing me a business focus on it as well. At the end of the day, this is my life that I run here, and I've got to treat it as a business and respect it with the respect it deserves as well. But you can learn a lot of things from business people and put them into our creative industry as well.
Yeah. What do you? 100% agree. What do you think we don't talk about often that you think we need to talk about in the scene that are people too scared to talk about?
Sure, that's a big question, mate. I think we don't talk about in the scene per se, like as artists and stuff, or you're asking like sort of general?
Business and in everything in between.
I think we don't talk about the. Sure, it's a big question. I'm trying to think.
If you want me to start, I can start.
I think you start. Let me give you the floor, and you can go from. I'll go from there.
Okay, great. I think there are two things we don't talk about. Firstly, is that people race. We don't talk about race enough. We don't talk about race enough in a way, because people charge too much or charge too little, or they don't know their value enough, or they don't know how to how to and value themselves enough to be like, oh, I'm that girl or I'm that boy. I can actually pay this amount of money or whatever the case it may be. And also, people don't the safety precautions, the safety in the scene it's good, but we can do better in a way. Those are my uh, things.
I think yeah, rates are an important thing, and it's always hard as like an artist to sort of gauge where your rates are. And everyone's like kind of always. It's always weird to me when I ask someone their rates for Saint, and then they like tell me, and it's always like this awkward comment. Everyone's like so hush hush. But how I look at my rates, I think I always look at my experience that I have and what I bring to the party. And I'm always fair with my rates. There's always room to wangle and help out where we can, but I don't think there's anywhere. I mean, if you look at any international artists or any big artists, they don't really have rates. They kind of work off an offer form. So you make an offer to an international actor, and they come back to you and say, "This is way below or way above." And so I think rates is something we do need to talk about a lot. I also feel that they're just like if you're in a corporate job, you pay UIF every month.
Yes.
I don't think that there's any structure in that within the DJ industry, whether obviously you're not receiving a monthly salary and everything moves differently, but there should be something. And maybe this is a business idea, so hopefully
Yes.
maybe one day I'll do it or someone else will catch on to my idea. But I've always been thinking about this, that there should be something that you can fund. And I mean, I do this through a private thing, but publicly there should be support from governments and the sort of arts and culture sort of industry
Yes.
to you put in whatever 100 rand a month, and you're going to be safe if you disability, mental illness, or if you just don't have work for a while. Like when COVID hit, I mean, artists were absolutely devastated. If you so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think those are two important things, and I think we don't have enough coverage around it. When we can't rely on government, but they should be. Being an artist is a wild thing. You never know what's gonna happen tomorrow. That's
That's the
the
thing.
crux of it.
It's a gamble, but it's a big gamble. But at the same time, it's the best gamble in the world. Um, my other question, I'll give you like five more questions. And I'll let you go.
No problem.
My other question to you is, in your perspective, in terms of the event scene, right? What do you think is what do you think is a secret sauce to make a event successful or to make it succeed in the long term?
Listen, I think there are a lot of factors to making events succeed, and they are really, really hard things to execute. I think everyone wants to do events and wants to be in it, and once you're in it, you're just like, oh, my head is like all over the place. But for me, it's the little things that matter in events. So the way I arrive at the door and the bouncer greets me or the security person will greet me, and I always tell my staff to be polite, friendly. We want to be inclusive on that welcome experience. I want to make sure when people go to the bathroom, it's a quick and clean experience, and not, it's these little things that really make things that may not seem something to you when you think about it, but everyone wants to have great sound and everyone wants to have great DJs, but for me it's the little things that are often overlooked. What is the experience from the moment the person gets out of their car, gets out of the cab, and the first person they see is your security personnel. Before they see you, they see the lights. That experience must be good, and I think that's for me. It may sound silly or whatever, but that's something that matters to me. And I think if you give people that, I think seeing what goes on at the luxurious marble circus is such a good, you know, um, sort of idea of that and what they've been doing there. It's just like everything flows to the little things like the toilet paper being pink and you're getting a VIP toilet. It's like these things like wow me, and I think that adds to everyone's overall experience. Obviously, the music and stuff is always there and it'll always be the number one, but the small things, the little things that matter the most to me are what matters.
100%. Speaking about events, I love events to the core. I love them to like it's my favorite thing to do in life and network and everything, right? But the only thing I have a problem with is like the lack of accessibility.
In terms of for you as you know, or
Me like I go out and I'm like, girl, I love DJing, I love doing all the stuff, but like at the same time it's like every time I have to do a whole thing. It's like like I have to go and I have to bring the whole I have to bring the whole squad and be like, yeah, look, pick they have to pick me up and all that shit. Yeah, but like I understand it's a long process, and but in order for things to change or things to be open, we have to speak about that actually. Yeah, so
when you speak about accessibility, what exactly are you referring to? Sorry, I just want to answer your question best way possible.
okay, so I mean accessibility in terms of the in terms of like getting in the booth in the booth, and sometimes it's what do you call it? It's too it's too what do you call this? Too large or too soft, not too soft or too large to get in, or it's too, like I'm like for me it's like I'm like I love I love events and think they're dope, but I just don't want to be you have to do special treatment for me, but I
Yeah.
also don't want people to be like, oh, you know.
No, and I can I've actually got a friend like you overseas, and I often go out with him, and it's a lot harder to move around and get around, and I think there is a general lack of accessibility to people that in a wheelchair or on crutches or things like that, and I think it's something that worldwide it's being worked on. And even in the booths, like some of the booths are tiny. I can barely fit in some of the booths. So I'm like, but
So
I think the biggest problem is, able-bodied people not being aware of it.
mm,
Until you spend time with someone that's not as, lucky as you to be on two legs and be able to move around as freely as you don't really think about those things. But I think as we, get more progressive and things open up, I think these things will really adjust themselves and become open. And I think it's also, a matter of making organizers aware of this, I think that's also
thing is,
pertinent. But
thing is, for example, I would love to go to the Saints one day and stay there one day, but I literally, if I like, I would like, okay, I want to go to Saints, let's go to Saints. But like for me, it's like a whole thing. But like, if I get in it, like if I'm like, okay, if I know Indigo is playing or blah 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 or whoever, I'll try my best to pull up, but like it's a whole mission, right? But I understand what you mean when you say it's a whole circle. The more people talk about it, the more people rant about it, the more people be aware. But it's 2026 now. We have to be more open to that in a way. Or am I
Hmm.
wrong?
I don't think you're wrong at all. And I think if you look at it, you go to a shopping center or wherever, and there's always, disabled facilities for everyone. Why can't that be at events? And I would love to have you at Saint. And when I get back from my overseas trip, I'm gonna make you a promise that I will have you at Saint, and hopefully we'll actually get you on the decks, and we will make a special something for you. I mean, if you look at it like Kabila, I think he just played at. at high this week, and there's always a room. I think making promoters aware of the fact of where you're at is also an important thing. Speak up, and don't be shy to speak up about what you require, and let's make it happen. I think that's the crux of where I'm at with that question.
100%. And then my third last question is, in your perspective, in your perspective, um, what would your special lineup be? Like, if you could book, if you could have a secret lineup that no one knows, who would be on it?
Sure, it's a big question for me. I think one of my favorite DJs and live acts that I've ever seen before is Eric Pride, so he would be on there 100%.
Yes,
It's nothing like an Eric Pride show.
yes.
Um, I think another one of those would definitely be who would I say? If you ever remember a guy named Eric Murillo, who
Yeah.
unfortunately passed away, I used to love Eric Murillo's tunes. Chris
Mm-hmm.
Lake is one of my favorite artists. I think any sort of Afro house guy locally is that are my friends and stuff. Big shout out to like the Capo, Napo, Cairo, Shimza. Um, Jesus, so there's so many acts and so many artists I would have on my lineup if I had the power to. But I'd say those are. Who are some of yours?
Okay. For There are like five. You. Because
Oh,
I'm not saying this because I'm talking to you. I'm a very blunt person. So like, I if I like someone, I like someone. If I like the energy, I would be like, sure. And then maybe Abby New Rock,
that was just great.
and then Kid Funk.
Amazing. Alan's a good guy.
Yes, and then Ducapo, and then you've got Cairo, and then maybe to shock the people, maybe Black Coffee.
Amazing. It sounds like a good lineup. I'll buy a ticket for your show.
Yeah, no, 100%. Because I feel like because people keep saying um, in order for us to grow as artists, we have to build our events and blah blah blah, build our own events, build blah 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 blah. Like, but I feel like to be an artist in 2026, there are three things you need in my perspective, and then you can add yours, and then yeah. One is the ethos to actually want to do it. Two, because the consistency. I'm not saying you have to post every day. That's not what I'm saying. But be intentional with your posting. And also just be willing to learn from other people, like I said, and just be a vessel to other people, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I think those are solid things to think about. I think also producing your own, your own music is you don't have to produce from the start, but I think something else is just having a good attitude around whatever you're doing, and stepping up every day, and the consistency you speak about is something and being open to learn. Being open to learn from people that are younger than you, people that are older than you, um, and just having respect for everyone. Like respect for I often deal with younger artists. I level up to everyone the same. I don't, because someone's a celeb or a big time DJ, I treat them the exact same. And that's something my late father and, the ethos that I surrounded by, treat everyone the same. But I think you've also got to have a bit of a wow factor, and you've got to know what you're doing, and you've really got to want it. That's something, some days you wake up and you don't think you want it, but you've got to find it within you every day to want something more than someone else. Because in today's times, everyone's got access to the internet, everyone's got access to music. You can go on and get music made by AI. What makes you different? Your personality, what brings you forward, those sort of things. And don't be shy to that. I was like that for a long time. I didn't ever like really show my personality too much to social media, and I've really come into myself now, and I'm not trying to put out a few videos and let people know who I am. You know, that's I think people appreciate that rawness and that side of things.
I think I'm the same because that's ironic that I'm the same. Like I'm like a shell, like in some regard. Like I'm very closed off, but when you get to know me, I'm the kindest person ever. Like like if that makes sense. Um, and then yeah, I think my last question to you is, what would you tell your 18-year-old self if you could tell him anything in 2026?
Is it music related or just in general?
In we could do.
I think there's two things. There's one, never give up on yourself. And just keep backing yourself and putting yourself in the right conversations and around the right people.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes just by doing that, okay, you may meet a million people, but they may not be able to help you or do whatever. But further down the line, it will come true. And I'd probably tell my 18-year-old self to buy a lot of Bitcoin.
100%. My the I would tell my 18-year-old self is two things. One, don't be so hard on yourself. Two, you're the secret sauce. You need to just believe in yourself enough to be like, you got this. You can't DJ. Like even if it's not perfect at the first time, you'll get there. It's not about being perfect the first time. It's about showing up. It's about being yourself. It's about being uniquely you and just allowing yourself to uh, flourish in a way.
Yeah, I think, it makes so much sense that. And I don't think anyone's perfect in this industry. And if you are perfect, I think you're too polished and no one's going to notice you. So being raw and you know, messing up and, making mistakes is all part of it. And no one's going to come down on you. I listen to DJ sets all the time. I listen to myself and I'm like, oh my God, I messed up. No one, everyone messes up. We're all human at the end of the day, and it's natural to do that. If we were all perfect, life would be perfect and it wouldn't be a challenge. So don't be shy to give it your all and don't be shy to put yourself on the line. The best place you can learn is when you're in the deep end and you learn how to swim.
Yes, 100%. Is there one last question? Is there any question you have for me that you want to ask, and then we can close off? Is there any?
I have a. What motivates you to do what you do? You've got a special story. I had a look around your page, and you're such a bright, bubbly, young, inspirational person. And I'm sure you've also, what inspired you every day? What inspired you to DM me out of the nowhere? I think that's also such a big thing is, taking the chance and doing this and reaching out to different people. What inspires you?
Okay, firstly, thank you. That means a lot for coming from you, by the way. For me, I'm gonna tell you my story, right? So I've been DJing for like 4 years, which I'm grateful for, and it's been a great experience. And I've been doing my show for 6 years. I because the reason why I wanted to do the show in the first place is that firstly, people don't talk about people talk about surface level things, right? And I didn't want that, right? I was like, no, like if I ever be on a show or be on a podcast or show or whatever, it has to be deep. It has to be intentional. It has to be ooh. It has to be that. Oh, okay, wow. Um, so I was like, if no one's gonna create one, I have to create one myself. So if that makes sense, and also just allowing myself to build my own opportunities. Because if I want to play at these places, I have to be open to talking to the people behind them. Like if that makes sense, or if I'm yeah, if that makes sense, or yeah.
Amazing. I think that makes total sense, and I take my hat off to you because it takes a lot of courage and a lot of the gut and will to put yourself out there like you have. So well done to you.
Thank you so much because honestly, you have actually showed me that anything is possible, and you know, because you have built something really, really
Thank
remarkable,
you.
and it's so special to see. And it's like the fact that you book the people that you book, and you are just you played it ultra and you just being like the kindest person ever and it's just like what okay wow okay great I didn't expect that you know that makes sense so yeah it really is a full circle moment and you know I wish you all the best with your London trip and everything else.
Amazing. I look forward to meeting you in person when I get back. I promise you, you have my word in it. I'm going to meet you in Joburg. I'm going to come fetch you, and we're going to have a night out, and we're gonna have some fun.
Such a pleasure. No, not such a pleasure. Wish you all the best and yeah see you when we get back and we'll talk and yeah. Right?
Okay.
Bye.
I'll see you shortly. Ciao. Have a good one. Mwah.
Bye.
Bye.